Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on Rise News. Here's a headline in today's Business Day newspaper. INEC flop spurs tech industry into action. The Independent National Electoral Commission has admitted there were flaws in the election, saying it would punish erring officials who colluded with party officials to compromise the outcome of the polls. The electoral umpire has also had to shift the governorship and State House of Assembly elections after the appeals court granted its appeal to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS machines, but only after it has ensured the data was stored on a different server that is accessible to the political parties contesting the outcome of the election. Speaking of BVAS, March 5th, 2023, two web applications from Nigeria were announced on Twitter. They were built by a group of tech and media companies and individuals, which the aim of recovering missing, or according to them, stolen votes and reducing the chances of such incidents happening again in the future. Eligible Nigerian voters in many states will head out March 18th to elect their next governor and members of state houses of assembly. For many, the outcome of the elections is critical and will show whether the country learned anything from the presidential and national assembly polls conducted February 25th. Nigeria's central bank has asked lenders to adopt a common standard to share authorized customer data with third-party firms, including financial, technology, and e-commerce companies, as part of efforts to expand digital payments usage and boost lending. The new rules on open banking guidelines will, according to the central bank, ensure efficiency, competition, and access to financial services for the nation. Joining us to discuss further is Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, thank you, sir. Good morning to you.
Morning. Thank God it's Friday.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Thank God it's Friday.
There would have been an election tomorrow, but then it got pushed back. So, Chika, you want to start with open banking?
Banking.
Yeah,
open banking. Open, closed.
Yes.
Open, closed.
Yes.
Just for our viewers, we can use some buzzwords to explain
Yes,
this.
of course.
But let's try and see if I can break it down somehow.
Yeah.
Basically, what's been happening so far has been the fact that if one bank wants to get information from another bank,
yes,
it's usually very tortuous.
Okay.
And because of market protection and stuff like that, banks don't cooperate with each other. Also, the other thing I want to put out there is that when things like POS, ATMs came into Nigeria, a lot of banks were like working solo. And when banks were also doing account numbers, for example, some banks have 12 bank account numbers, some had 8, until the central bank came and standardized everything to 10, right, for uniformity and for shaking of hand in the industry.
Yes.
All that, those kind of initiatives, the fact that ATMs, you can use your card in another one ATM from another one. Yeah. You can do your transfers. Now, when you're doing a transfer, for example, you type in an account number, Rotis Odiri will come out. Yeah. That's a form of,
you send me some money.
That's some form of open banking.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a process, in the furtherance of the fact that the financial system needs to be opened
Gotcha.
to everybody in the system.
Yeah.
So the data is king.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is saying.
Yeah.
So that the information, the cost of a bank has about customer, customer A, can be shared with other financial institutions.
Gotcha.
Banks and quasi banks like fintechs.
Yes.
So it just means now that I'll drop one buzzword, which is called the API, Application Programming Interface, which is basically what the software of softwares that you use in entering other bank software or using checking hand. So what's happened now is that banks had different APIs. Yes. But what this open banking is doing now is trying to make everything uniform. Gotcha. So that you can query, you can enter another banking software or banking system, including fintechs, if you register, to enable you to do that. So in this program that CBN pushed out now, they are what I call the API providers. Okay. Now, that's an interesting aspect, which where I'm pushing to now. Yeah. API providers include banks, as you know them, fintech companies. Okay. Wait for it. FMCGs. Payroll companies. Okay. And other retailers. Yes. Anybody that has customer credit information can actually register as an API provider. Okay. Now, the second level is API consumer. Those who need that services. Yes. So a bank can be an API provider and then be an API consumer. The same thing with the fintech. Right. So a consumer now is that I want to get information about other customers. So I have to register with CBN to be able to access that.
Okay, okay.
And of course, the customers are we. Now, the nexus of this is that the data of any bank is owned by the customer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unlike the before, where it was centralized in the bank. Now, a bank, a customer can actually give you freedom. If you go to ShopRite and shop, for example, you can actually sign a document there and say, GT, Zenith, Wema, release my information to ShopRite.
Okay.
Automatically it's done.
Okay.
Then there's no meeting that again that will be held.
Right.
Because the information is owned by what?
The customer.
The customer.
Yeah.
Now let me push it down to the end. It means immediately for those who are making credits, lending money.
Yes.
Or shops who want to extend credit.
Okay.
Remember abroad, you have a Selfridges card, Walmart card,
exactly.
and all those. What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
Because they have additional information now. They can get information quickly, easier about customers and standard credit. So it means immediately that to make a decision about whether we send your credit, the institution has more information.
Gotcha.
It will be easier. If you have to even push additional products, insurance companies now do not have any excuse again not to push products.
Right.
Because they have the avalanche of information about customers to push that product.
Yeah.
Now the other interesting thing is that the old banks remember how the customers.
Yes.
A new institution can just come out there, watch all of you just go and get the customers, and just sit down there, register as an API consumer.
Yeah, and then
just get in and just
collect.
Look, you'll be collecting information.
Yeah.
So it democratizes data. It democratizes the financial base. Now, who gets at the end of the day is a customer. Because more product offerings, product innovations can come in.
Yeah.
Competition is reduced. Lenders will have more information to lend, make the credit decisions.
Yeah.
And the customer is better for it at the end of the day.
Fantastic.
So that's important. So new products also, and even as I mentioned, lower cost of entry.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that stops companies from starting is what? We don't have a database of customers.
Right. Exactly.
Now you can actually go there now and get that.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, also, it drives financial inclusion, especially for the fintech companies. But of course, remember the risks overhand.
Yeah.
When data is shared this way, remember the issues of cybersecurity, safety.
Yeah.
And that's why the Central Bank of Nigeria, of course, the arbiter, has raised the standards for penalties. For example, the GSI, the Global Standard Instruction.
Yes.
The penalty is so high if you go and raise the information about a ROTUS that you don't necessarily need, and ROTUS complaints. The Central Bank will fine you heavily on it.
Right. Okay.
So that makes the bank circumspect before they can get access to that kind of information. It's the same thing here. But so it's a new initiative in the industry. You're going to make a lot of things work. A lot of opportunities are going to come out. But remember, data is the king. Data is the king. So the customer's information is very, very critical to making financial decisions. And so these things that banks have been holding, our financial institutions open there. And moreover, the retail business.
Yeah.
So, and Elizabeth Motors now can register here to sell cars on credit.
Yeah. Okay.
So they have your credits in other banks.
Yeah.
The retail companies is the same thing. So consumer credits you actually push through in this era because you have more information to make credit decisions.
Fantastic, Chika. That was. You are, ladies and gentlemen, aviation analyst, banking analyst, fintech analyst, Arise business analyst, Chika Mbonu. Chika, thank you so much for the breakdown. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.